information station, WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, our morning show. It's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining us in this segment, Chris Clark. Chris is the superintendent of South Fork Schools. Chris, good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
Of course. I mean, come on now. It's good to see you here in studio. Chris, an easy interview every single time, and no different here today. We want to kind of start, with the start of the school year. I know we're pretty well into the start of the school year now, but things have really been quick for me. So I can imagine on your end, they've been probably just as quick. What can you tell us about the start of the school year?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. It's flown by. We just ended the first quarter last week. So parent-teacher conferences are set for tonight and Thursday night. Give a chance for our parents to come in and talk to teachers and see how their kids are doing after the first quarter, and hopefully make some transitions or need an improvement to see where they are and get some of that valuable communication that comes along with talking to a teacher. Too many times in this era are we just firing emails back and forth in that, and there's something to be said about face-to-face sit downs and having those conversations, and it gives you time to isolate and on your kid, talk about them and set goals for them, and hopefully work towards that improvement that you want to see in your kid based on what's happened the first 9 weeks, and definitely get some feedback about how they're doing academically, mentally, also, disciplinary wise, all those kind of things. It's a great opportunity, and you hope the community takes advantage of it and gets in there and sees those people that are in there during those extra hours at night to talk with them, to work with them.
Absolutely. When I think about it, obviously it starts at home, because that's where we're sending the kids to school from, and then their kids are going back home. And so it's one of those deals too, where it's like a teacher can do so much, but some of that has to continue at home. And this is a great way of doing so. Do you feel the same way, that, it's a big part of it, and why not take advantage?
Absolutely. You want that relationship to be able to talk to teachers. Obviously, if you come in there and you talk about some stuff, because what you get from your teenage kid is probably about half of what's happening with some of the different things. But those conversations you can have with teachers, not only that, it opens up the door, and it gives you a face. Sometimes some of these people don't even know what the teachers look like, or assume different things with them. But I think it opens that door to personalize the person and have conversations, and you feel a lot better down the road if you have issues, that you can pick up the phone and call them or email them, and the person that you're talking to, as opposed to just a name or an email address that you're sending it to. So that personal aspect of it, I think it is so huge with it. We love to see parents advocating for their kids. That is their biggest job they have in the world. They are their kids' number one advocate. Now, sometimes they advocate on the opposite side that we might be advocating on, but I'll never fault a parent for that with stuff. And it's great to see them actively taking roles in their student lives, because, some of the most disappointing parts that I've ever had about this job is the kids or the parents that don't advocate for their kids, or don't do stuff for their kids. And it's just so disheartening to see that, and the kids working everything they can, and they might have a parent that don't really care that they're doing those kind of things. So always advocate for your kids, do what's right for your kids and stuff, and work for them. We're here to help them develop, and we want to work with you to help them develop.
I can appreciate that, though. Just your sentiment about that, and the fact that, of course, we want the parents to be involved, but understand that we're trying to do our best for them as well. And so if both parties are of the same mind, I think that helps in a big way. You mentioned something there, kind of, maybe I'm reading between the lines on you here, Chris, but the rise of emails in terms of communication between teachers and parents, is that a good thing, or is that kind of how do you feel about that?
Well, there are definitely pros and cons to just about everything you ever have. Emails are fantastic, because with time and pressure of teachers and everything they have on their plate, they're not able to pick up a phone and talk to a parent very often. They do have prep periods built in the day. They have some time after school and different things, but and also parents have work schedules, everything else. So those communications between emails are very, very valuable and utilized very well. And that's good to get that kind of communication back and forth going. But I do think there is something, like I said, to be face to face with a person, talking in person with that, because like I said, you don't get the personal side of things whenever you're just shooting emails back. You're shooting it to a name with it, and whenever you're sitting across from a teacher as a parent, and you can see how much that parent or that kid, that teacher cares for your son or your daughter. And that's something you can't get through emails, because I will say our staff cares about our kids. And when you see them talk about the kids and individually about your kid or something like that, you would see that personal side about how they feel. And maybe that would even touch you a little bit more of, they are here for my kid and stuff. So again, emails are great for small communication, but when you get that door opened up to meet a teacher, go in and do it.
Well, and I think, the email is not going to let you see the light in the eyes.
Sure.
So that's one of those things where I'm right there with you. Just was wondering, and again,
absolutely.
Pros and cons come with everything, but
sure.
Didn't want to read between the lines too much on you there as well. What's the update right now from your principals across the schools? What are they saying to you?
Man, I'm hearing some positive things happening within the school, just in our administrative meeting, just some of the great things that are going. I know AI is a really, really big thing right now throughout the school system. We're really taking charge of trying to look at that, how to utilize it the best in the academic world. Obviously, it can't be the end all be all and do everything for us. But at the same time, if we find ways to utilize that technology and bring it into the classroom and help everybody get better, those are some very, very positive things. And my principals just at our last board meeting, they put together an AI PowerPoint presentation for our board, and they're just doing some really, really fabulous things on those fronts that they have. And they got teachers on board with it. I'm working at it. I go every day, and our principals and our teachers are working hard in the trenches every single day at what they're doing. And it's a great feeling throughout the building whenever you walk through our buildings right now.
I'm sure that also just not only gets you fired up. I mean, these are people that you want to be successful, and you want the kids to be successful, but it starts with those teachers, starts with the administration, and moves its way down. And so utilizing AI in academics, though, interesting little piece there. Is that something we're talking about kind of helping with, maybe like a classroom plan? Maybe seeing if it just has a general recommendation about maybe how we administer a lesson. What have you seen in terms of AI and its use?
Well, I mean, it can go all the way from, just a couple of simple questions to basically writing a lesson plan for you. When you utilize it. One thing we are really stressing to our teachers, and our principals are doing a fabulous job of this, is, like I said, it's not the end all be all. Don't go on there and say, I need a math lesson for subtraction of 2-digit numbers. Get it, and then just hand that over to the kids. Like, there's still the personal side of the teaching that you have to do, because the kids, I mean, they've always been in front of the teachers in technology, because you just hand them that worksheet that you printed off AI. They're going AI and getting the answers and giving it right back to you. So all we are doing is regurgitating AI information just back and forth. So that's almost where the in-class sessions become a lot more valuable, because you can assess students right there in the time being and everything. It's a great tool to utilize, but don't count on it to do it for you. And that, as we're stressing that, teachers are seeing that, utilizing it. Again, you're not taking an hour to write up a lesson plan for something like that. You can go generate, but you still need the teacher quality side of things to be able to present that lesson to the kids in a way that they get it, understand it, and they're not just typing stuff in and getting answers.
So basically, look it over, make sure it applies to the people that are in your classroom, and maybe make a change or two, but but make it more personalized.
Sure,
and
utilize
totally.
it. I mean, it's I remember back in the days of my teaching, I'd be teaching a history lesson or something like that, because I taught both math and history. And, I would be searching internet for a video clip about that to reiterate what I've been saying, and I'd spend 20, 30 minutes. Now in AI, you just tell it, I want a video clip of the Constitution, this and that, and bam, it pops one up for you. So it definitely helps time, but the more you rely on it, the less you rely on your abilities as teachers. And we have some fabulous teachers that have fabulous skills, and we don't want them to lose that.
I sure wouldn't either, for you or for the kids within your classroom. So, Chris, we'll come back and we'll talk more, but that is a look at the end of the first quarter already wrapping up. It's 9 weeks that have just flown. We've got the football season just about to do the same before the playoffs. We talked parent-teacher conference night and that face-to-face feedback, the benefit for your home environment, and we love seeing parents, the rise of email, some pros and cons with that, and using AI in academics, but doing it the right way. Chris Clark, superintendent of South Fork Schools, joining us here on the WTIM Morning Show. We'll be right back with him to talk more about his district.
WTIM.
Radio in cars. When internet and cell services are out, AM could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179 and tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Brian Barnhart here, the voice of the Fighting Illini, inviting Illini Nation to listen for Fighting Illini sports this season on New Country 104.1. From every kickoff during football season to the closing horn of every basketball game, you'll hear them in Christian County and surrounding area on your home for Fighting Illini sports, New Country 104.1. Follow the orange and blue and go Illini.
Brought to you by Bob Ridings and Secret Lee's Insurance Services, both in Pana, and Adam Jeffrey with Craig's Realtors in Taylorville.
Promoting student success is our priority at Taylorville Schools. This is Superintendent Brandy Bruley with an invitation to discover the exceptional achievements of our students and staff during our monthly Taylorville Schools Good News segment. Join us the first Thursday of every month at 8:40 on the WTIM Morning Show on air, on the WTIM audio stream, and the WTIM video stream on Facebook and YouTube TV. Students, teachers, and administrators will share how we're fostering student excellence each day. Tune into the WTIM Morning Show for our Good News segment, and go Tornadoes.
Taylorville Community Credit Union has an opening in its Taylorville office for a full-time teller. Duties include handling member transactions, opening new accounts, and daily balancing of their cash drawer. Pay range is $16.50 to $18 per hour. Benefits include health, dental, vision, life, and long-term disability insurance, as well as 401k, paid time off, and paid holidays. Mail or deliver your resume to Attention Michelle, Taylorville Community Credit Union, 422 West Main Cross, Taylorville, Illinois, 62568. Equal Opportunity Employer. Member NCUA.
Taylorville Care Center's personalized therapy program helps you get back to enjoying the season. Whether it's pumpkin patch visits, Friday night football, or autumn walks with the grandkids, we'll get you moving again. Click their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com to learn more.
I'm Brandy Bruley, Superintendent of Taylorville Schools, where we promote student success. At North School, we're renovating the former wrestling room into classrooms, a conference room, and storage. Find out more by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Go Tornadoes.
Your information station, WTIM.
And we're back with the WTIM Morning Show here on your information station, and brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining us, we have Chris Clark, Superintendent of South Fork Schools. Chris and I have been talking a lot about this first semester and the start of it. Now we want to turn our attention to athletics and the great look that has been so far for South Fork Schools. What about the volleyball side of things? How is that going?
Sure. We got a new volleyball coach this year. She's actually one of our teachers at South Fork. We do play over at Edinburgh, but talking with her in the morning is a different thing. They've hovered above 500 all year. I think she was talking the other day about her regional game. She thinks that they got a good chance of getting at least a regional win and hopefully competing maybe for a regional championship. So wish them the best of luck as their year wraps up. But it seems like she's been very excited, and I think she's going to be a great one for the program moving forward and just building some continuity and being in the building and just one of the teachers is so important in a role like that.
Sure thing. Volleyball wise, possible little regional run. We might be able to sneak about and maybe make some noise. And, to hover around 500 in your first season, you do tend to see a lot of times where, let's say a program is kind of just, it's humming along, but it's not really doing real well. And then you bring somebody new in and it has to tank for a year or two. And in this case here, we're just kind of humming right along and we're trying to get back to that upward trajectory.
And actually hovering above 500.
Nice.
It's not, she's not flirting with 500. She's a little bit above it and a couple games in hand. So.
Nice. Bad time to try and take a drink of coffee. That is great to hear on the volleyball side of things. Anything else athletics wise? When it comes to maybe like football, I don't know about cross country or anything like that.
Well, I mean, we can definitely sit here and talk about football all we want. I know that probably views are going to be down this month compared to what we had last month. Kids did a great job. But before we get into football, we do have junior high girls basketball. Went and saw them. A new coach there that's a teacher inside the building as well, doing a fabulous job with the kids. On that side, they might not be having the success on the win column, but just seeing them play week one and playing now and the growth they're having and just the impact she's having as a coach on those kids of the positive personality and everything is just so heartwarming as a leader to see and caring about those kids. So great for that program. We had some JFL success, not a school situation, but yeah, our football program is 8-0 right now, hoping to knock down a 9-0 perfect season for the regular season and looking ahead for some playoff success, hopefully.
Well, there's a good chance of it. Yes, the views were high. We didn't do too bad when it came to all the gentlemen that joined us here from the South Fork 8-man football team. They were excellent, and I do want to preface with that as well. They were very respectful and conducted themselves very well in an interview setting, and we're very excited about this program. What has you excited about the program?
Winning is always really nice, but sitting back, just listening to that interview a month ago is what really has me excited about the program. Coaches put in long extra hours for a lot of things and preach a lot of different things. And while winning is what everybody wants, that's not necessarily the top of the priority list for a coach. And listening to those kids talking about family, about dedication, about, giving what they have for the coach, giving what they have, next guy up, playing for each other. Yes, winning helps, but when your message is getting through to those kids that you're hearing, that Coach Hanlon and the other coaches are giving them, and when they come on a show and they're reiterating what you're saying, it's not falling on deaf ears. You don't feel like you're wasting time out there the whole thing. But I mean, just their personality and how they've accepted, the different adversities they've seen this year and everything else. That is a winning program, not a 9-0 football team. The players that you're developing and the young men that you are putting out into the workforce or into the college situation, that is what a successful football program is about.
Absolutely. And you mentioned JFL there. Yes, not attached to the school, but that also gives you a little bit of hope too, that right now we've got a good thing going.
Sure.
And we've got the possibility to really keep it going.
Yeah. I mean, it's a culture thing.
Yes.
I mean, culture and climate, you hear that at the professional levels. Coaches are getting canned because they can't do an interview because the locker room is trashed with different stuff. Culture is the driving force. The athletes create opportunities for coaches to be successful, no doubt, but the culture that the coach builds and the climate that the coach maintains keeps that success year in and year out, because those kids are gone in 4 years. And how are you going to do longevity? And that's with the culture that you develop.
And so right now, hearing that we have a positive culture and it's translating to success, all positives. However, Chris, we are out of time, but thank you for joining us here.
Always flies by. You're easy. Such an easy talk.
Yeah, well, same to you. Chris Clark, Superintendent of South Fork Schools, joining us here on the WTIM Morning Show.
Reports a large-scale Russian drone and missile attack killed at least 6 people, including a woman and her 2 daughters. Trump